Jacob Wilkins on our pregame show, joined by Rumble Ponies pitching coach A.J. Sager. A.J., good to see you.
Yeah, good to be back on the air.
Yeah, tell me, when you look at last night, Tyler Stewart, I counted 8 pop-ups. That seemed to be his trademark last night. We've seen the strikeout games. We've seen the ground-out games. What was working for him to induce the pop-ups?
Yeah, it was a little bit odd, first of all, to have that many in any game, but certainly with a guy that relies mostly on sinker slider. But he did mix in a few more four-seam fastballs last night and pitched at the top of the zone, sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. But he always has good life on his ball, so he was just barely beating him to the punch, but he was beating him to the punch. And got a lot of pop-ups, including one that he caught. Probably,
yeah.
We didn't advise it necessarily, but it resulted in an out. So,
yeah, it seems like, has there been any adjustments? You go back to the start before with the 5 perfect innings and the 6 no-hit innings. I know it's been at times an up-and-down year for him, but he seems to be getting back on track the last few times out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He, he certainly has the stuff. Performed here last year until he ran out of gas a little bit, and really has performed here this year. It's just been a little more choppy maybe than he would have expected, but it's just part of the growing pains, and teams start getting more and more information on you, and so he's tweaked his arsenal just a little bit, not necessarily adding pitches, but maybe just, we're facing a lot of left-handed lineups in the league, and I think that's probably going to be the norm going forward, not necessarily here, but the teams we've been facing, and sometimes that can be tough on a sinker slider guy, so he's starting to use his four-seam fastball more, starting to manipulate the shape of his slider a little bit. So he's adding just a little bit of variation, not necessarily adding pitches, but just what he's doing with those pitches.
When he retires 13 in a row, or any of the guys do, what's it like as a pitching coach when you can see a guy really in flow?
Well, I'm always at my best, and I just keep saying, that a baby, that a baby, a baby. No, I mean, it helps everybody, and I mean, it helps my blood pressure, but I think it just helps them. Everybody likes to work in rhythm, and the defense, everything kind of works in rhythm, and when you get into a rhythm and you start, stacking up the outs that goes with it, well, then obviously confidence comes behind it, and it probably has the adverse effect on the other team. They probably feel like they're looking up every time in a bad count and feel like, and we've been on those sometimes, through the years where you feel like the third base coach runs over there and you look up and he's running back to the dugout.
Right.
It's just such a quick inning. So, of course, defensively, that's what you want.
And that connects with pace, right? It always seems like when a pitcher's going well, it's like, oh, he's throwing it again. I'm not even ready.
Yeah, and if there's one thing that I haven't been as pleased with right now is I think we've slowed the pace down, on the mound, and I mean the pitch clock kind of holds you accountable, but it just feels like we're dragging a little bit, and it's probably affected a little bit by the heat and humidity we've been playing in. Maybe it isn't any worse, but it just feels like we're working a little bit slower. And again, just going back to the rhythm and timing, I like to keep pressure on the hitter with the count, plus also the tempo we work with, and we maybe have lacked in that a little bit the last couple of weeks, but it's been addressed, and we'll see if we can pick it up.
How about the bullpen, and even dating back to Saturday? You get your base twice in a unique sort of situation. Guzman yesterday, Santos grinded it out. How imperative has the relievers having those lockdown innings been?
Yeah, it's important. I think the whole game's changed a little bit over the last few years that, everything used to rely on starting pitching. Certainly still need it, but who can come in and finish the game? And, we're trying to build that here, and we've had some good and we've had some not so good through the years, and through the year. But like Junior, we're trying to get him different situations, and certainly this being a heavy right-handed lineup, matches his stuff better. But I was real proud of the way he reacted. Guzman's gotten better. Gervais last month, his velocity's come back, so he's been good. McLaughlin's been good all year. Robinson's been better. I mean, we just have some guys. The one issue we have a little bit, which is a good problem to have, is our starters rarely give us a clunker. So, trying to get those guys enough work has been a little bit of an issue. And like I said, I'd rather have that than the other way around. But, you do feel a little bit for them. It's hard to get in the rhythm when you pitch once a week, but sometimes that's what they're faced with.
When Gervais is able to work out of a first and third, nobody out in extra innings, do you teach at all those extra inning situations where you're coming in with the ghost runner on second?
Not so much. I mean, we try to keep the same approach around here. We just, again, want to pressure the hitter, and that's getting into good counts and, putting our good stuff in the zone. But, you're aware that you're coming in with a guy on second base. I think it probably eased their minds a little bit when it would become an unearned run over the year. But, no, he's responded well. He just had a little lapse early in the season with his velocity, but it was a physical thing. And Vanessa and the group did a great job getting him back on track, and now his velocity's come back up where we saw it last year. And, he's a unique guy with that length and that extension. It's not a comfortable bat when he's up to 93, 95, which is where we've seen him.
What's lastly the message heading into the All-Star break? And I know guys, they want to stay fresh during that break too. What's the message as they get a little time off after this week?
No, it's really a great question, and to me, it's similar to after spring training when guys are getting from Florida up to wherever they're headed, and they have to be a little bit self-sufficient because they're going to have a few days on their own, but they don't really have time to ramp back up when we get here. So, and we got professional guys here, but we just ask them to keep their arms moving. We're going to give them the break. We feel like the mental getting away from it's more important than having a workout, so we'll get them away from it. But they have responsibility. They're going to have to keep their arms moving, and I did go around and check to make sure somebody had, everybody had somebody they were going to be able to throw with. We got several guys staying in bingo, and they'll just, go to the field and play catch or whatever. But no, it's a unique situation, and the guy I really feel bad for is the guy who starts the first game coming back, or the second game, because you kind of come right out of the chute and you're on the mound. But it's just something you learn to deal with. So it's just another adversity they'll have to climb through.
They didn't put down the job responsibilities, or maybe they did. But
yeah, no, that's true. They didn't.
AJ, always enjoy it. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks.